In this short video, we're going to investigate how dyslexia is diagnosed. But first, we're going to think about some myths regarding dyslexia diagnosis. One is that dyslexia is a medical diagnosis. Not true. Another is that only neuropsychologists can diagnose dyslexia. Again, not true. And lastly, schools cannot diagnose dyslexia. Not true. Let's look at what diagnosis is all about. There is no easy way to diagnose dyslexia. Just like any other learning issue, it depends upon the child's performance in the classroom, the child's reading skills, and the child's background information. A team approach is the best way to diagnose dyslexia, with each member of the team assessing particular areas. Understanding a child's background is critical to diagnosing dyslexia. Issues like language learning before school, literacy experience, family history of dyslexia, these are all important, and that information can be gained by any member of the team. The current and prior classroom teachers are in the best position to discuss instruction. Children should have received early instruction in phonemic awareness and phonics that was explicit and systematic. If despite that instruction the child still has not picked up on the alphabetic principle, that child might have dyslexia. Intelligence. In the past, IQ was part of an evaluation of dyslexia. Currently, the IQ achievement discrepancy is not used to diagnose dyslexia. However, an intellectual evaluation would help shed light on the child's learning pattern. This would be conducted by the school psychologist. Reading and reading-related skills. We need to understand a child's skills in several areas. Those areas could be assessed by the classroom teacher, reading specialist, or other personnel who conduct academic assessments. Let's look at what that assessment should include. Phonological awareness. This forms the basis for attaining the code. Assessment of phonological awareness is developmental, moving from rhyming to identifying beginning sounds to segmenting sounds in words and blending sounds into words, depending upon the child's age. We need to measure a child's knowledge of letter names and the child's ability to read words in isolation. We need to know letter sound knowledge and decoding ability. Those measure a child's knowledge of sound symbol correspondence and their ability to apply that knowledge to unknown words, usually nonsense words. Automaticity. We need to assess automaticity in several areas. First is rapid naming, which usually includes a child looking at a series of letters and maybe another task of numbers and naming them quickly. This tells us about processes underlying naming speed. Second is automaticity in word reading. The children with dyslexia may be able to read words but not do so quickly. And the third is automaticity in decoding. Spelling. Decoding and spelling are related, yet it's important to assess both. Spelling gives us information of how a child represents the code in writing, and also information about that child's handwriting skills. Comprehension. Comprehension is the ultimate purpose for reading. We need to assess comprehension and compare it to child's decoding and word reading skills. In other words, if the child cannot get the words off the page well enough to comprehend the material, the comprehension measure is invalid. In that case, listening comp would be a better measure. Lastly, we need to understand oral language skills. Understanding and processing oral language is key to reading. Many students with dyslexia also have some underlying issues in oral language. The school speech-language pathologist is the best person to assess receptive and expressive language skills. Once the assessments are complete, the team should meet to determine whether the child's profile fits that of a child with dyslexia. This means that the child is not reading at the expected level, shows difficulty with underlying phonological or naming speed skills, demonstrates difficulty with phonology, decoding, and word recognition, and demonstrates these despite good instruction and intervention. For more information on dyslexia diagnosis, visit the Rhode Island Department of Education website at ride.ri.gov or the International Dyslexia Association's website at dyslexiaida.org.